I rang his mum and I got her to ring him because I couldn't face just ringing him and telling him.
Yeah, I was working in Galway. I was in a fucking 10-foot hole in Galway. Working in a fitting a water main with Comiskis. And the phone call was in that she was just going in for a normal checkup. And she was 3 centimetres gone, 25 weeks pregnant. Scary. We were there before with our last lad 9 years ago, Joshua. So I knew the outcomes of it. Didn't come on the whole way down from that Galway road, flying it down towards Boyle. Didn't know what I was expecting when I got as far as Sligo Hospital. I sort of knew what I was expecting of our previous with Joshua, like. Yeah, I was. I didn't think there was going to be any hope at all, like.
Blake was born first, and then Kailum was born after. And there was a team down from Dublin. They were on standby. They were ready to work on them. Blake was £1.14, and Kailum was £1 exactly. Blake was rushed to this side, he was to the left of me, and then Kailum was taken out to a different room. And they were doing CPR for ages. Felt like forever.
They lived for a wee while, like Kailum lived for 35 minutes. I was in and out of each room.
We thought that Blake was gone, because I heard Gary in the background. He was kind of shouting, and I just knew then, I said, they must be both dead. And then the nurse brought Kailum over to me so I could hold him. And he was still really warm, like.
Kailum passed away. And then Blake there was a team down from Dublin working on him. And
then I could hear them in the background saying that another twin is after coming back or something like that. And it was like Kailum died and then Blake came back.
Eventually he was stable enough to get onto the helicopter. He was there for 7 or 8 hours before they put him on the helicopter, which I couldn't understand at the time. I was thinking to myself, if you just get him on the helicopter and get him going to Dublin, like, I didn't understand, like, he wasn't stable enough, like, and the pressure. And when I got up to Hollis Street the next morning, Maurice Branley brought me up, Ashley's brother-in-law, which he was very good to us, Maurice Branley. Like, he brought me up several times to Dublin. First, I remember meeting this doctor from Wexford, a young doctor, and his name was David. I'll never forget him. It's like a picture mirror in my head today. And the first question I asked him was, "What's the story with the bleeding on the brain?" And he says, "I don't know where you're getting that information. There's no bleeding in this young fella's brain." So that was the first good news we heard about Blake. And then later on that day, I was in Hollis Street up in the hospital there, and it says to ring back to Sligo Hospital to get Aisling up here as quick as possible in an ambulance, which they did. She was up within 2.5 hours in an ambulance to say goodbye to Blake because they said he was going to pass away.
It was just an awful feeling to know there was one one of my sons back there, and then Blake was there.
We didn't want to be burying Kailum and then coming back a week later, burying Blake, like. We wanted to bury the two of them together, like. So yeah, it was hard, yeah.
And then on the day, the removal of Kailum, we got a phone call from Dublin to tell us to get up straight away. He had taken some infection and he wasn't fighting it. They said that he was going down rapidly, so we needed to get there. So again, Morris was there and he brought us straight up to Dublin. And then when we got there, I remember the doctor, she looked at me and she said, just in the last hour of he coming up, he's actually responding to the treatment.
Right proudly high in Dublin town, hung they out the flag of war. 'Twas better to die 'neath an Irish sky than at Sublour Sudell Bar.
And when she came along, I don't know what happened, but he took off again. And he's just a fighter the whole way through.
And then we had Gary's cousin, Laura. She was great. We used to stay with her. She had a house up there. And Gary's other cousin, Sheila and Sean, they had an apartment up there. And Sean used to let us stay in the apartment when he wasn't there. So they were really, really good to us. Like, we would have been lost, actually. We stayed there like all the time. We came back for like 1 or 2 days to see Jaden because he was with his nanny and granddad and my family. I always remember a certain thing when I was sitting with Kailum and Jaden would come in and he'd rub his nose and he'd go back out again, or he'd come in and stare at him for a minute and then he'd go back out again. And I think it was good for him to not to hide anything from him. Like, why would you hide his brother? He always says to me, Mum, we have Blake and Joshua has Kailum. It's just in this little incubator, and like he couldn't do it, just lying there watching him like develop, like seeing his eyes open for the first time, then starting to see him, having his first bottle. That took a good while for him to actually start having his first bottle. We brought him home and then he got sick again. He got very sick at Christmas. He had bronchitis, but to premature babies it's more, he was back on oxygen and everything and tube feeding. But he was in there for about 2 weeks. I think he got out the week before Christmas. We didn't think he was going to get out, but he started coming around again and he was great. He was good for Christmas.
Pat Devaney, a good friend of mine, good family friend, got a committee together, a load of other good friends, and I could name them all here, but I'll just say Pat Devaney and the committee because so many of them involved in it, just to pull one hell of a fundraiser together for us. And all the companies, business people, they sponsored us. It's just unbelievable. Unbelievable. It was an unbelievable night to come home to. Just to know there was people there thinking of us. But I knew I always had them friends anyway, like, but it's just what people can do when they pull together, like, it's amazing. He's doing good. He's in and out of hospital actually enough, like in and out, but for what he came from, he's doing very well.
He is a wreck. He is a wreck. But he's great, like, he's a great dad. And we just be strong for each other. Because we have to be.
Hello everyone, this is the Notorious Blake Mc Nasser. Just want to say this is half our family here. I want to say a big thanks to everyone that helped us and got us through the hard times. We wouldn't have did it only for you. And this is the wee man that everyone has done all their work for. Clap handies, Blake. Good boy. Clap handies.
Thank you.
He's saying thank you. No. And Jaden was a great boy through it all too, he was. He's a great wee lad. The best brother he could ever have. You want to clap handies? Yay! Clap handies! Good boy, Blake. That's Blake saying to you, thanks very much for all what you've done for us. And we mean that from the bottom of our hearts. Really do. Good boy, Blake. Up United. Clap handies. Yay!